We are focusing on something that's an immediate threat right now to the Gulf Coast, and that would be Nate, tropical storm, could be a hurricane before all of this is out. To weatherbell.com Chief Meteorologist Joe Bastardi. Joseph, as you probably heard, Louisiana, the governor there already declaring a state of emergency just in case. The city of New Orleans, similarly, just in case. What do you make of this?
Well, we think Nate is coming very close to New Orleans, probably just to the east of New Orleans, and it will be a Category 1 or 2 hurricane when it hits late tomorrow night. First, I think it'll hit at the mouth of the Mississippi and then go up right on the eastern side of Louisiana, the Delta area, and then up into Mississippi, Alabama itself. I want to point something out. Did you notice the jobs report? I'm sure you did. We're down 33% in September, and they're blaming the hurricanes.
33,000.
That's
yeah.
what my company does before. Yeah, right. So, but what's interesting about that is when we start rebuilding, there may be a resurgence of jobs because people have to be hired to help help do that. That's what our company does. You know, as you know, Neil, we had a big impact season before the season, and this whole situation, this weaving of the weather over the next year is fascinating because of a La Nina coming on, and you're seeing the end game of the La Nina and the overall weather pattern that we've had this summer on into the fall in the last part of the hurricane season. When I was on with you last, we talked about October 1st through 10th, look out, coming out of the Caribbean into the Gulf. Now, what's Nate going to do? Well, right now, Nate is being limited by some factors around it. Unfortunately, later tomorrow and tomorrow night, just before it makes landfall, those factors that are limiting it come off, so it is probably going to be a hurricane, not a real bad hurricane. It's not going to go to a Category 4 like Harvey or Irma did, but probably a 1, perhaps a 2, and when it goes in, it's going to raise a ruckus. One of the problems we have, folks, in southeast Louisiana is there's been a disturbance moving west through the northern central Gulf of Mexico that's been jamming water back west. Tides are already 2 feet above normal. For instance, I'm watching the station on Lake Pontchartrain, so it's already 2 feet above normal. So that may be added to this surge, and that's why we have the coastal flood surge going in there. But this is coming in tomorrow night, again, probably over the mouth of the Mississippi on the east side of Louisiana, then up into Mississippi and Alabama, and then it'll help bust up what has been a very dry period over the eastern part of the United States come Monday and Tuesday.
All right. Now, how does this all go the rest of the season? I guess this technically goes to the end of next month. I mean, what are you looking at?
Well, there may be 1 or 2 more developments, but I think that this is probably it for the United States as far as high impact potential goes. It's been a remarkable season. In fact, a little bit before, I sent you a map showing you how symmetrical this season has been overall off the East Coast and in the Gulf. This will be our 5th Gulf hit. It doesn't compare to 1886, by the way, where we had 7 hits, 3 of them major, all in the Gulf Coast area that we're seeing now. But think about this. You had Harvey and Cindy over in Texas. You had Emily and Irma over in Florida. Nate is going right up the middle between the two. So what happens is you can see the pattern evolving, and what is likely to go on with the remainder of the season is that anything that does develop will turn away from the United States. Even after Harvey hit, we said, well, that's probably going to shut down the Texas part of the hurricane season. So one thing about these big patterns, these high-impact patterns, Neil, is they're sort of easy to see in general terms. The details as to where they go at the end, that gets tougher. But the general terms of this particular season means that we should be shutting down the impact on the United States after this storm. I will tell you this, though. A lot of the times when you come off these super Ninos, like we had, remember we had a big one, 97, 98, and then we had to deal with the hurricane season, 98, 99, right? So what happens is we are probably going to have another big hurricane season next year.
Jeez. All right. Aren't you just full of great news? All right. Joseph, good seeing you, my friend. Thank you very much.
It's history.
It's history, of course. Joe Bastardi.